was just like Craig sitting there. Hello. Hello everyone. Welcome to sponsor the panel discussion #1 for the Rep Experience. Happy to have you all join us today. This is focused on successes and challenges in 2021. And we have a great lineup of panelists to talk us through their successes and challenges, and for me, filled with great learning moments. So with that, I'd like all of you on the panel to introduce yourselves, and we're actually waiting for one who's hopefully going to join us soon. But John, why don't you start?
My name is Johh Duever. I am from St. Louis, Missouri, the Midwest of the United States. I own a company called Vinyl Images and Design here in St. Louis with my brother, Johh Duever, and my sister, Destiny Conley. We've been in business 20 years. We have a very large facility. Our core competency is fleet graphics. And we just do really, really well. We've done really, really well for a very long time now. We print and produce over 3,500 wraps and graphics packages a year. I'm also an Avery Dennison certified instructor, and I host the Rap IQ podcast.
Welcome, John. And Michael?
Hi, my name is Michael Althoff. I'm from Windeck, Germany, so not even close to the United States. I run Yellotools for the last 18 years. I'm the owner and founder of it. We produce tools and all kinds of helping aids for the wrapping, sign making, digital printing business. I have 40 employees, and 2021 was, strange enough, the best year of our life so far. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. Great honor. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Michael. And Karl, would you like to introduce yourself?
I am Karl Engel with Fellers, and I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I've been at Fellers for 34 years. So I'm glad to be here. That's it. A couple days.
Cool. Well, hey, thanks you all for being here. And Marcelo Seuss hopefully will join us soon. And there's two reasons why we kind of handpicked this group for this panel discussion. One is they cover all the aspects of the industry. We have Marcelo, who's a private manufacturer of vinyl PVC film. We have Michael, who makes the tools. Karl, major distributor, and John, major wrap shop, who actually does a lot of fleet, as he said earlier. So it covers all the gamuts in the industry. So lots of information that we can get there. And number two is, they all been super successful in 2021, despite all the challenges. And I know them all very well. And I think one of the common denominators that I see amongst all of them is great communication among the team. And number two is the ability to pivot and having the courage to pivot. And number three is they also have a lot of fun and passion, which is a really cool thing. So that's kind of the baseline for this panel discussion. So what I'd like to do with this panel discussion, again, we only have 30 minutes, so just keep that in mind. But what I like to do is we're going to ask a specific question to each one, and all of you can kind of chime in. And then once all the specific questions are done, I have some more general questions that we can all jump on. So Marcelo was going to be number one because I wanted to go from vinyl manufacturer, tool manufacturer, but such is life. So next up in the totem pole is Michael. Michael, you get the first question, my man. All right. You manufacture great tools in Germany, all right? And you had your best year ever, oddly enough. Yet that doesn't mean the growth was based on your normal protocol. You actually had to do a lot of very interesting things to make it successful. So basically, can you share with the audience some of the things that you did to adapt, and also how did you manage the raw materials, regulations, innovation? Because in Germany it's super regulated and stuff like that. So you actually had a lot of things up against you, and you managed to be successful. Why?
Well, I mean, the answer will take an hour, but I tried to keep it as short as possible. 2020 taught us a lot of lessons, and we are happy that we learned a lot from the crisis, and so we could really adapt, or we can really work that what we experienced into 2021. And most of it was really, like I said, being able to pivot. So make change your friend. This is what we really, we lived that culture since, I think, 14 years. It's called lean manufacturing. I don't know if you ever heard about it. And the willing and the ability to change is kind of like a core of it. So if you think you do it successful the last 10 years, you keep on doing it, you're gonna die. So that's my number one thing. We learned a lot about search engine optimization, how people find us, how people really ask questions in the internet. So if they ask a question to the universe, you just have to listen to it. You just suck out what the question is, and then you jump in right where the answer is supposed to be. And this is kind of like the thing. Regarding the regulations in Germany, yeah, you're right. I mean, we have a big, huge book and catalog of you can't do this, you should not do this, and this is not allowed, this is illegal, and so on and so on. So there are two options. So you can talk about these problems and rage against it, and you can like yell and scream and being totally pissed about it. Sorry, or you just go with the books and you focus on the solution. So I always say I try to be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem. A lot of people waste time in just yapping. We're like, okay, you want me to go this way? I do it, but my way. So being flexible and with the supply chain thing, to answer this, the solution is very, very simple. We stick to our local suppliers over the last 15 to 18 years. We have a German saying, we go through thick and thin. So with all the challenges, we stick with that person. We go together through the problems. And at the bottom line, at the very end, you will see these people holding your hands while it's going all the way down. So that's why we don't have that big of a problem. And 75% of everything you see in my shop is produced in my shop. Very short communication ways. If I need to talk to the guys in the wood shop, they'll say, "Hey guys," and we're right there. So that's pretty cool. And I hope that answers your questions a little bit. I could talk about this forever.
No, it's great information. I guess my only other question, again, this is a unique thing that people might not know about it. One thing that came in very handy for you in 2021, which was actually quite successful, is your history as a truck driver.
Yeah, I mean, it's really funny, but it's sad at the same time. Germany, I think it's the same all over the world. We have a problem with trucks. We don't have enough drivers. So bottom line, we bought a big, huge 40-ton semi truck last year. Yes, my dream came through, and I go. As soon as I need rolls or wood or whatsoever, I jump in that thing and I get it here to make my customers happy. Period.
Awesome, that's a great story. So thank you, Michael. And now we move on to Karl. Karl, you are working with Fellers now for 32 years. You said
34.
34. That's awesome. So Fellers is one of the largest wrap supply companies in the world. And unlike making products like Michael and Marcelo, you buy a lot of products and then obviously then resell them to a lot of your customers and stuff like that. What has been kind of the biggest challenges and successes that you found in 2021, and also what surprised you?
Well, the biggest challenge is just supply chain. We deal with every major manufacturer, and all of them have been relatively inconsistent. And so our goal is to always have something that we can offer the customer, because they're all going through good times and they're all going through bad times. And I think just understanding that and helping our customers understand, you got to be open to using a lot of different things right now to stay alive. I mean, if you're an Avery shop or a 3M shop or an Arlon shop, those are great. But, at the end of the day, you've got to be able to use a lot of products, kind of what you teach at the Wrap Institute. And we tell people, you're going to have to be skilled and versatile in all types of material so that you can supply your customers.
That's a good point.
Second half?
The second half is like, well, I guess based on that, trying to get all the materials, and basically, so you're, as Fellers, customers want a certain material, they want stuff like that. Your job, was it your pivot to then educate them and be like, well, if you've been using Avery, it's okay to use, let's say, 3M general formulations, and guide it that way? Was that a lot of customer service that you had to do, or how did you guys get that transition?
That was a lot of sales, customer service, and just, some people, they didn't want to do it. Well, once it went on for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, they realized, yeah, I probably ought to embrace this situation. And a lot of times it meant sending samples, getting vendors over to their shop to help train them. There's a lot of aspects, referring them to different videos. And that was a big deal that really helped us become a trusted advisor rather than just somebody who sent them material. We wanted to be part of their business and be engaged in helping them be successful during this period. And it's not going away anytime soon. We really believe we're all going to have to deal with this through next year.
And then, so based on that too, Fellers has had an interesting business model over the years. And for distributors, instead of just drop shipping everything, you guys have local, distributorships that people can actually go and pick up the material. Was that helpful for you in 2021?
Oh, absolutely. And, we've doubled down, and I think I've shared with you the millions and millions, tens of millions that we have back ordered with all these people. But our 58 warehouses, while we're lower, they are still pretty full, and people can go, and if they need something that minute, we can help them pivot and say, hey, come on by, pick it up. And sometimes we have it there, sometimes we don't. That's a little bit of a crapshoot right now, but it's always usually within a day.
Yeah, that's how it is across with anything that you're buying at the grocery store or anything right now. It's definitely an interesting time. So, Karl, thank you so much for that. And really quick internote before we get to John. For those of you wondering about the Never Stop Learning contest, you can guess in this chat here on the main chat, the whole group, or you can go to that specific group for the Never Stop Learning contest. And also keep in mind, those of you watching, there's the breakout session that's in about 15 minutes. And there's a free-for-all session, and you can ask all the panelists direct questions right to the source, which is cool. Now we move on to Mr. Johh Duever. John, you run a wrap shop with your brother and sister, and your sister is actually going to be a panel discussion number 2, which is great.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, this is a great thing. Family affair. So, you're in the U.S. Midwest, and you focus on fleets, and that was your big gamble a few years ago. I remember when 2016, 17, when you're having dinner, you're like, I'm going to bet on fleets, and it's been super successful for you, which is great. But in a challenge of 2021, when it's hard to get material, when it's hard to find and keep employees and stuff like that, how have you guys pivoted and stayed and actually grown and become more successful in 2020 and in a year that you theoretically shouldn't have?
I think number one is we backstock a ton of materials, right? So we have a very large stock of backstock, and then as we're pulling out of our backs, we basically have our own warehouse full of vinyl, essentially, not Feller size, but as we pull a roll out of backstock, we order that roll. So our backstock is always 50, 100 kits of material, always. It may be a little bit low at times, but we try to keep that in stock. Backstocking is a very big deal, and it was kind of frowned upon a little bit by some of the smaller companies where, I can't get material because these big dogs are getting all the material. Well, it's like, if I don't have material, I can't keep 20 people employed. I can't keep my lights on. I can't do this, that, or the other. So I'm just playing the smart game for my family and my team. And we go through it, we're going through a pallet a week, 2 pallets a week, where we're rocking and rolling through the material. So we have to do what we have to do. Number two, you have to figure out what problems that were going on inside the fleet world. Like, what is happening? Well, there's vehicle shortages, right? There's microchip shortages. People can't get vehicles. They order 50, they only get 6 vehicles. How do you fill that void? Well, you got to sell them a product, or you got to fix the problem. You figure out what the problem is, you isolate the problem, and you provide a solution for that problem. And the solution for that problem is rebranding. We're going after, people can't get new vehicles, so we're removing old wraps and putting new wraps on. You have to do what you have to do. These companies have advertising budgets. These companies have to spend the money on advertising. Why not provide them a solution so they have a beauty? Like, you have to understand, when a plumbing company has 5,000 vehicles and they roll up to a house and their wrap is 4 or 5 years old and it's peeling and cracking, that is a very bad look, and they know that. And there's people in charge of that for these large fleets. So we get a hold of them, we talk to them, we say, listen, I know you guys have a vehicle shortage, I know you can't get them. Let's talk about removing and reinstalling some of these wraps. At the same time, we look at each individual vehicle as an individual vehicle. If it's got 220,000 miles on it and it's on its last leg, we're not going to throw a $2,000 to $4,000 wrap on it. So we educate them on that as well, and make sure that they're making good financial and sound financial decisions.
That's cool. What about employees though? I mean, that's, I did, Avery workshops, and I went to all the shops this year, and every employee, every owner was like, dude, I cannot find employees. And if you do have employees, they, it's kind of tried and true in the industry, where you teach someone how to wrap and they think the grass is greener and they take off. That's challenging. So how did you manage that?
It is very challenging. And that's something that we continue with. I am a firm believer. I used to get very upset. I'm a very passionate, emotional person. And I used to get very upset when people would leave my team because I feel like they were doing me a disservice, and they weren't just like, let's say they got mad at me and left. Like that really hurts the whole team. It doesn't just hurt me individually. It hurts all the friends here at the vinyl at our company. But with that being said, I have kind of shifted my mindset and pivoted my mindset to the right people are going to come into my life at the right times. And even when someone leaves, even if they are a valued employee, when they leave, you realize, you know, they had been doing this behind your back for a pretty long time, or there was something going on where, you know, they were stealing from you or whatever it might be. It's a very difficult thing, you know. I mean, I can say right now that we are gearing up. We have 3 job offers going out this week. We're gearing up for 2022. We had a little bit of a lull when it comes to you know, team members, but overall we've been pretty fortunate. If you put enough good out in the world and you're positive and you try not to be too much of a
you can say
too much
it's
of
a
an
rap experience.
asshole,
Yeah.
you attract the right people. And I truly believe that the correct people are in my life now, and I believe that that the right people will continue to come to my life. That just is what it is. I don't force it. I used to put a body, like I had a bucket with a bunch of holes in it. I would just, you know, plug the holes with a body. Now I plug the holes with the right people, and that has paid off dividends in the long run.
That's great. That's great. So good answers, guys. So, you know, let's go back to how we kind of started this. And I think now we can now Marcelo looks like he's just decided to go swimming, which I understand. You know, he's on the beach. So no, Marcelo would have been great to have. Again, he's a good friend of mine, and he makes great material down in Brazil, and he had a really unique story for this. But that being said, you know, for me, again, the common denominator that I think links all of you is communication. And I think, you know, coming into 2020 when COVID started, or even this year, you know, the companies that I saw, you know, kind of not only just survive, but go up double digits and really kind of excel were the companies like yourselves that had amazing communication. Michael, you have Lean, which is you're super, super well known for. John, you're a Trello, you know, machine in terms of your company and stuff like that. Karl, you have Fellers, which has been a very well run company for years. Like when an order's placed, it's just boom, it's like clockwork. So would you say that, what would you say? Well, that being said, earlier I said communication, not being afraid to pivot, and also just having fun. What else would you say were just really surprisingly kind of fundamental things that you were doing that really were like, oh my God, that was actually, I'm super happy I was doing that.
I'll jump in and say something real quick. You know, it's the fact that the team knows that we have their back. You know, through 2021, at the beginning of 2021, this pandemic started, and it was, dude, I like still have PTSD from it because 2020, I had so much pressure on me to keep my team alive, and I'm sitting there, I'm getting ready for work, and I had to have a meeting with my team, and I had to let them know that everything was going to be okay, even though I wasn't sure it was going to be okay. And I kind of I didn't coin the phrase. It was on a shampoo bottle in my shower. It said, all for one, one for all. And I was like I said, everything happens for a reason. Everything comes into my life for the right reason. And I came in, I gave a speech to my team, and I told you, we're not laying anyone off. We're not firing anybody. If I take a pay cut, you take a pay cut. If you take a pay cut, I take a pay cut. If we got to cut hours, we're cutting everyone's hours. No one's leaving here. We got your back. You're part of the family. We're going to nail this. We're going to kill it, period. And I had no idea if that was the truth or not, but the all for one, one for all mentality truly resonated with everybody. And that's how we still to this day drive that home. So if your team knows you have their back, they're going to have your back.
That's awesome stuff. And what about you, Michael?
Yeah, so for me, there's one key word to say for it. It's all about grow people. You know, we all want to have an upgrade. We all want to grow. If we are aware of it or not. And there was a gentleman, Nicky, asking how do you keep good employees, and how do you get new customers, and all that comes together with and grow people. So if you give your people a reason to be at your shop or to come to your shop or be your customer, if you give them an upgrade. So I think nobody would deny at the front desk of an airline if that girl tells you, hey, you know, the economy class is full, we have to give you a business class seat. Nobody would say, nah, you know, I paid for the lower one. Everyone's like, hey, yeah, let's take it. So let's give people an upgrade. We need to give our customers an upgrade. We need to give our employees an upgrade. So, and I can say with all my 40 people with me, nobody is at the same job that he started with. They all grow in a certain way. And John, I think you would agree. I mean, if you tell a guy, hey, look, this is how to wrap a fender for the next 20 years in a row, you would have to wrap fenders, nothing else. That guy would say goodbye. But if you have to show him fender, hood, bonnet, blah, blah, then you can do calculations, you can do graphic design, you can run the printer and blah, blah, that person grows. So give people a job where they are excited Friday afternoon to go back there on Monday. That's the key point. Grow people, help them grow, lift them up. And that's what I do. I would say it's in 18 years.
What about you, Karl?
You know, one of the things that's really helped us inside the company as well as out is just be honest with people. So many people are giving people false hope or telling them something and then crossing their fingers. We're just honest with people, and what we tell you today could change tomorrow. And it's a very unstable environment, but we're going to continue to be honest with you, tell you what we're seeing. I mean, it's like price increases. People go, are we done? Are we done? Well, maybe we are, maybe we're not. I don't know. I mean, are we done at the gas pump raising prices or food or at the grocery store? So I think honesty with our people has helped get the buy-in so that they can, again, pass that on to customers. And we stress that as you're working with customers and helping with them, just be honest with them about what's happening and just understand that the information we learn from manufacturers, it may or may not be true. Let's hope that it is, but we're going to tell you what we know. And if it changes, we're going to tell you what the change is. And so that has really been a big deal for us, and people have relied on us for that, and they've called us, and it's been a great kind of a consultative sales process that has really helped bring some loyalty into the game.
That's great. That's great stuff. And, you know, we have about 6 or 7 more minutes left. And I think based on all that, then, being honest, and, you know, it's great. And, you know, your employees, and it's great, you know, really interesting stuff. But I think what is for growth in 2022, there's a chance 2021 is a big grow year. The supply chain issues and that. Because I mean, imagine if there was no supply chain, it's busy. Like right now, the industry is growing super fast, more jobs than ever. You need employees and stuff like that. How are you guys dealing with just, you know, the 2021 challenge, but also planning? Okay, if the supply chain issue ends, how are you going to get ready to explode? Michael.
Yeah, so at this point, I really need to give a big shout out to Fellers, because whatever Karl said today is absolutely true, not only from the customer perspective. We work with Fellers since, I would say, 12, 13 years right now. And especially over the last 2 years, it's just a pleasure working with this company as a customer, because like you said, loyalty and honesty, we talk to each other. So what is possible, what's not possible, and they don't cut your throat off. They just help you through the process. And this networking, that communication, that meeting on eye level is what we need. I need Johh Duever as my customer. I need Johh Duever telling me, Michael, you are wrong with that product. We need to change it. We need to adapt it. Not telling him, oh, that's a piece of crap, you don't buy it. So it's the eye level thing we all have to learn. A network is like a bank account. You can't just withdraw money. You have to put money in or information. So I think it's a great thing that with Marcelo in there. That's really perfect. We need to meet on eye level with our customers, with our vendors, with freaking everyone.
Well, actually, you know, let me interject, because I had a glitch that kind of threw me off my question. This is actually the main question that I wanted to ask you near the end of the session is, you know, what's challenging, you know, how many employees do you have, John?
19.
And Mike, you said
with
Michael,
3 job offers going out this week, just so we're clear.
22, possibly 22. Michael, you got 40. And Karl, how many people working at Fellers?
Over 300.
Okay, so based on that, so you have employees to a certain sizes, various sizes, medium to large. Even if you're a freelance installer or 1 or 2 person sign shop and stuff like that, it takes courage to pivot. So where do you guys find the strength to pivot, whether you have 22 employees, 40 or over 300, or even just 1 or 2? It's tough. You have your groove, you have your clients. How do you find that courage deep down to be like, okay, this is where we're pivoting, we're going to go for it? It's tough. How do you do it?
Personally, I feel personally responsible for my team. My team is my family, right? I feel responsible for their car payments, their mortgages, their kids, their health insurance. So if I have to pivot, like in 2020, we pivoted into sneeze guards and floor graphics, and I mean, even 3D printing of mask holders. Like, there was so many different things that we pivoted into in order to increase the revenue and keep the revenue going. It was a gold mine there for a little bit. The graphics dropped off for a short amount of time, but there was many opportunities and many other different little sprouts popped up. I can't let my team down. There's no way, whether I have 3 people or I have 300, the mentality, I'm sure, is the same between all of us. You can't let your team down, period. You're the leader for a reason. You're the boss for a reason. You're the owner for a reason. And that responsibility, it weighs heavily, but you must take it to heart. You must take it seriously.
What about you, Karl? You're going to say something?
Yeah, it's I think John's right when he was reading on his shampoo bottle, all for one, one for all. We get everyone buy in, everybody help each other. And if we lock hands, lock arms, it's gonna be a lot easier trip down the path, because we're gonna learn from each other. Nobody's on an island. Nobody's gonna be left alone. And so I think that is so important for us is, hey, we're all together. We're going to get through it together. We're all going to suffer together, and we're going to win together. And that has really given people the right mindset to allow us to be successful.
Yeah, I think Michael too. I mean, being home and not traveling, I've spent a lot more time with you than I normally would this year. And you really got into face shields, and that was actually a huge pivot and really sustained you. And actually that was really got you going, through this COVID period into 2021.
That was last year, and I don't want to look in the rearview mirror. I want to see the windshield, see what's going out there. But the shocking thing is, pivoting is easier than most of us think. We try to be 2 seconds better than yesterday over the last 13 or 14 years, which means we make change a part of our culture. And if it's a part of your culture, if consistency in what you do every day is not your friend, it's like, hey, is it really cool what we did yesterday, or is it to be improved? If you can get rid of waste in the process on a daily basis, then change is your normal day. And that's why it was easy for me last year to change into that face shield thing. And it was big. It was big, really big.
That's awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for being part of this panel discussion. The 30 minutes is now up, which means that what we're going to do is everyone watching right now, you're going to leave this session and then you're going to enter the breakout session. And that's where everyone can ask questions. You can even jump up on stage with these guys. Just make sure, no crazy, no craziness and stuff like that. But hope you all picked up a lot of great information. I did as well. It was pure enjoyment on my end. So with that, let's lock out the session. Let's go to breakout and let's get to it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Ciao.